Sheep in Every Corner by Janeen Grohsmeyer, adapted by Amanda Esko. Many years ago, in the land of Transylvania, in a mountain valley watered by quick rushing streams and shadowed by a great forest of beech trees, there was a small village full of wooden houses with dark shingled roofs. The people in the village were of the Unitarian religion, and they wanted a church of their own, a church set on the hillside, they decided, looking down upon the village. So all the people of the village labored long and hard to build themselves a church. The stonemasons hammered sharp chisels to cut great blocks of gray stone, then set the stones in stout and sturdy walls. The glaziers made tiny panes of glass and fitted them neatly into the windows with leaded lines. The foresters sawed tall beech trees into enormous beams and laid the trusses for the ceiling, then covered the roof with close-fitting wooden shingles that wouldn't leak a drop of rain. The carpenters carved wood for a pair of wide open doors, setting them on strong pews so that the doors hung straight and square. A bell was brought from a faraway city, then hoisted by ropes with a heave and a ho to the top of the tower. At the end of the day, when it was finished, and when their church was finally done, all the people in the village stood back to admire it, and then to sing a song of happiness and praise. Their village had a church now, a church set on the hillside, looking down upon the village. "We will eat now," announced an elder, because everyone is hungry after their long, long days of work. "And later tonight, we will come back to worship and pray." So the people of the village went down the hillside to their homes and their suppers, all except one little girl named Zora and her father who stayed behind. They had brought their own bread and cheese. They ate their food slowly, sitting on the grass on the hillside, admiring their new church with its strong stone walls, its tall tower, and its magnificent bell. After they had eaten, they went back inside, opening those carved wooden doors to go into the glorious painted sanctuary inside. "Oh, look, Father," Zora cried, running from picture to picture, with her footsteps echoing off the stone walls. "See how pretty the church is?" She stopped in the center of the church, twirled slowly around. "See how grand?" "Yes, it is," said her father with pride. "But Father," she said suddenly, "we have not finished." "What do you mean?" "There are tall lamps on the windows, but there are no lamps. There's no candles. The church will be dark when people come back." "Oh, little one, the light of the church comes from its people. You shall see." He rang the bell to call the people to worship, then took his daughter by the hand and led her back outside. They waited on the grassy hillside next to the beautiful church of strong gray stone. The sun had set behind the mountain, and the night was coming up soon. Yet in the growing darkness, tiny points of light came from many different directions and moved steadily up the hill. "Each family is entrusted with their own light, little one," her father explained. "Each family has it to light its own way here." "Where is our family's light?" "Your mother is carrying it. She will be here soon." The many lights moved closer together, gathering into one moving stream of light, all headed the same way, growing larger and larger, brighter all the time. Zora's mother arrived, bearing their candle in her hands. The father lifted Zora so she could set their family's candle tall in the iron stand. All around the church, other families were doing the same. Soon the church was ablaze in every corner, for all the people of the village had gathered to pray and sing. All through the worship service, Zora watched the lights flicker and glow. She watched her family's light most of all. When the service was over, her father lifted her high. She took another family's candle from the lampstand. Its curved sides and felt warm and smooth in her hands. Her mother carried it all the way home, the flame lighting the way. The lamp lit their house when they returned. Zora washed her face and got ready for bed by the light of that flame. "Mother," said Zora. "Yes, little one," her mother said, tucking in the red wool blanket around Zora's shoulders. "Father said the light of the church come from its people." "Yes. Also, people take their light from church, and they take other people's lights. And we have that light every day." "Yes, indeed," said her mother. "When we come to church, we bring our light, ourselves to our community. When we leave, we take the light from everyone home with us. And even when we're not in church, even when the light is not lit, we carry the light of truth and the flame of love to show us the way to be in the world." "But each family only has one light," said Zora. "So make another and let that light grow," said her mother. "And someday tell your children to make more lights too, and their children and their children. And now, good night," said her mother, and she kissed Zora on the cheek and on the forehead. Zora closed her eyes and drifted into dreams while her mother looked down at her sleeping child. The years passed. Zora grew. The light came into her care. She kept it polished and clean, and when the bell rang out across the valley to call the people to worship, she carried it back and forth on the hillside, the flame always lighting her way. And when the time came, she made more lamps and gave them to her children, who made more lamps and gave them to their children. And so it went on throughout the years, even today. And, as always, the light of truth, the flame of love from that Unitarian church on the hillside continued to grow and show them and us the way.